Save the world, save the world, save the world right now. Save the world, save the world, save the world somehow. Save the world, save the world, save the world right now. I don't know what to do besides sing this song for you. Save the world, save the world, save the world right now.
Hi, this is Ashley Gavronsky. I'm here with my girl Tia. Tia is a meditation teacher outside of Atlanta,
Yes.
or inside Atlanta actually. And Tia and I first met. I think it was at Vipassana, and
Yes.
so our first experiences involved meditation, and since then we've remained friends. And I've watched Tia's personal business grow. I've watched her meditation company expand, and I've seen Tia step fully into her light and her way. And for me personally, she's been a guiding light, and so that's why I asked Tia to come on the show. So please welcome Tia now. And if Tia, if you could go ahead and just take over from here, that'd be great.
Sure. So, hi everyone, I'm Tia Robinson. I am a mindfulness meditation coach and instructor, and also an entrepreneur here in Atlanta, Georgia, as Ashley mentioned. I have been meditating personally for about 14 years. And I have been teaching folks about meditation and using meditation to help with stress management probably the past 5 years. So I've worked with folks such as Georgia Tech, Silence to Shame, Black Girls Run, and I really like to introduce the relaxation, activating the relaxation response in folks, and using meditation as a tool to just kind of calm down the body, calm down the mind, so that we can think clearer, so that we can make clear decisions. So we are in a state where we're not focusing so much on stress and anxiety. We're focusing more so on rest and restoration. So that's a little bit about me. And what Ashley has asked me to do today is to give you all a quick meditation or a guided meditation. So I'm going to do something that I typically do with groups as it relates to activating the relaxation response. So we'll start off with some breath work, just to kind of get in touch with our breath, utilizing our breath as an anchor. Then I'll go on to a body scan so we can start to incorporate the body into the meditation. And then lastly, we can go into just a few minutes of meditation in silence, with us just connecting with our breath, connecting with our body, and really being able to get in touch with our spirits. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I am going to turn my camera off because I find that when I'm doing these Zoom meetings, I have the light flickering in the back, or I won't have my eyes closed necessarily. I probably will be joining in and out of the meditation, but I don't want anything to be a distraction for you, including myself. So you will hear my voice. I'll bring you through those 3 phases. At the very end, you'll hear me ring my bell 3 times, and then I will start to pull you out of the meditation and then invite you to open your eyes, and then we can go ahead and get into the discussion. But just wanted to give you all a quick synopsis on what to expect. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off. And I am now going to invite you, if you haven't already, to just find a comfortable spot. If you're outside, just getting in the car, just allow yourself to just have a seat without starting the ignition or anything. Just sit and be present. If you're home by yourself, just taking a seat, whether that's on the floor or in a chair or on the edge of your bed. Or if you're home with others, just finding a quiet spot that'll just allow you to tune in for a couple of minutes. And once you've found that quiet spot, I invite you to bring your palms to your knees. And I always encourage you in terms of your palm position. You can do palms down if you feel like you need a little bit of grounding today, or palms up if you feel like you need just a little bit of energy. There's no wrong choice. And if either of those positions don't feel comfortable to you, you can just bring your palms to your belly. Now that you've identified your hand position, I invite you to gently close your eyes and just start focusing on your inhale and your exhale, in through the nose and out through the nose. Without any manipulation, we're just focusing on the breath in the present. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. And as you're connecting to your inhale and exhale, you may notice that your breath may be a little shallow, a little accelerated. That's totally fine. And just continue to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Continuing to bring your awareness to your breath. And starting with our inhale, just start to notice the breath as it enters the nostrils. As it goes down the throat, the airway, and as it fills the lungs. Notice the coolness of the air as it enters the nostrils. Notice any vibrations or sensations. Just take notice of your inhale without any judgment. Now switching your attention from your inhale, just now start to connect with your exhale. Noticing the breath as it leaves the lungs and goes back up the airways and exits the nostrils. And as you're focusing on your exhale, just notice the warmth of the breath as it exits the nostrils. Notice any feelings or vibrations or sensations as the breath leaves the body. Now bring your attention back to both your inhale and your exhale. Just check in real quick and take inventory. Inventory without judgment. And just notice if your breath is just a little deeper. If it's a little bit more relaxed. If it's slowed down a bit. Just take notice as you continue to inhale and exhale. As you're focusing on your inhale and exhale, start to bring your awareness to the very top of your head. And you can connect to that awareness by making it a color. It could be a feeling or a sensation. It could be a ball of light. Whatever it is that you connect to, just let that be your awareness. Bring it to the very top of your head. And start to allow that awareness to travel from the top of the head down into the forehead, bringing with it a feeling of release and deep relaxation. Continuing to breathe, let that awareness travel from the forehead down and around the eyes, into the cheeks, into the jaw, and with your mouth still closed, just gently separate the teeth from one another, relaxing the jaw fully, which allows the neck to relax. Allow that awareness to travel from the neck down into the shoulders. From the shoulders down the full lengths of your arms. Making your way down into the wrists, into the palms, and down into the fingers, starting with the pinkies, the ring fingers, middle fingers, index, and thumbs. Continuing to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Allow that awareness to travel back up the full length of the arms, making its way into the area in between the shoulder blades. We tend to hold a lot of tension in this area, so just continue to breathe. Allow your muscles to release and relax to send that area the awareness of rest and relaxation. Allow that awareness to travel down into the center back. Into the lower back. Down into the hips. Just another area we just want to give special attention to. Taking a couple of breaths. Just allowing the hips to release any tension or tightness in that area. Allow that awareness to travel from the hips down into the thighs. From the thighs down into the knees. Into the calves and shins. into the ankles, the feet. And just allow that energy to exit out of the toes, starting with the littlest and making your way over to the big toes. And once you've done that, just allow the body to circulate that awareness a few more times as we move into the portion in silence. But as that awareness is circulating through the body, allow it to seek out and find any tension or tightness in the body that doesn't serve you in the present moment. Any feelings or emotions that don't serve you in the present moment. Anything that doesn't serve you in the present moment, allow it to find and identify. Sweep it through the body and allow it to exit through the toes. As you continue to focus on your inhale and your exhale. Start to bring your awareness back to yourself. You can do that by wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingertips, motioning your head from side to side. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes. Well, I hope that everyone enjoyed that. My apologies if the bell was a little intense. You can never know sometimes when you're on an earpiece. But I hope that everyone had an enjoyable couple of minutes to just kind of get grounded. And I guess I will go into my story. And I guess the question that I'll answer is how I got to this space. How did I get to a point where I started to walk this particular path? But I started because I was in corporate America. And I've always been super ambitious, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I used to want to be a VP or CMO in marketing. And I was fairly young, 26, 27, working for a Fortune 500 company in communications. And I was making a lot more money than a lot of 26 and 27-year-olds. And, you know, sky was the limit. Sky was the limit for me. But I was given a challenge to grow, as I like to call it, in the form of a reorg of the department. So if you're familiar with that, that's kind of like when a company comes in and they make all these organizational changes, and sometimes you have to report to someone different, doing the same job or a similar job. And that's what happened. So I was really in a good space with my previous role, but I got reorged to work under someone that I perceived as difficult, right? So perception is key. And it was a challenge. It was my call to grow. But what I found myself doing is I started to operate in a space of a lot of self-doubt. I operated in the space of questioning my abilities. I started to exhibit anxiety and stress, high stress in that role, just because of the demands of the person I was working with. And eventually all of that came to a head, and I started to have panic attacks. And so I had panic attacks at work. So if I was going into a meeting or I had to present, I just dreaded that process because I started to think, oh, you know, I'm going to go into this space and I'm going to be criticized, and I don't like how that feels. I'm going to be belittled. You know, I'm going to be essentially told that I wasn't good enough. And so the anticipation of that caused me to start to exhibit high stress and anxiety. And so I went to the doctor, and the doctor basically was like, okay, well, you know, you can have a heart attack at your age, and we don't want that happening. So, you know, you really got two options. You could either quit or you can take these pills. And I just was like, that's all we got. That's all we got. Either take medication or quit your job. I'm like, I got bills, you know, I liked traveling at that time. I loved clothes. And I just was like, I can't give up my salary. And then I was just like, well, you know, anyone who knows me knows that, you know, my first go-to was to be able to look at something that may be a holistic option. And that's always been the case, even before I started to go down this path of knowing and wellness and well-being. Like, I always was like, is there like a juice I can take for that? Or is there something else that I can do so that I don't find myself becoming dependent on anything for my happiness and my well-being? So at that time, it was really, really bad. So I took the pills, but I also started to do some research in terms of alternative ways of dealing with stress and anxiety. And so I came up with exercise, which I was pretty active at that time. So I was like, okay, so, we're going to do something, I'm going to do some more running or incorporate this or, do some weight training. And then the other thing that I came across was meditation. And coming from a Black, Southern, Northerner Christian background, that was something I had to wrap my head around, because we have all of these, preconceived notions in terms of what that is and what it's used for. And, if you're sitting and meditating, are you opening yourself for entities or beings and stuff to enter you? And is it channeling? And, all of these different things. And so I had to really sit with whether or not that was something that I wanted to do. But ultimately, after some research, I decided that I definitely wanted to go ahead and learn about the practice of meditation. And so what I decided to do was to look for classes, and I came across a course that was a 6-week course at one of the universities here. So being that it wasn't meditation really kind of that I felt like conflicted with my faith at that time, I was more inclined to register and sign up. And so I signed up for a 6-week course. And I will say that that was about 14 years ago. And I've been meditating just about every day. Meditation has, from the first time that I sat down and meditated, I just was like, where's this been my entire life? Who's been hiding this? Why didn't we know about this? I had all these questions because I felt so at peace and I felt so relaxed, and I was so able to tap in from that first session. I truly, truly, truly fell in love with it and made it a part of my life. And though I continued in corporate America for a while, when it started to really, take me down a path of spirituality, I started to look at what it is that I wanted to do, with this next portion of my life and how I wanted to be of service. And meditation was something that came very naturally. So I went and got a degree in coaching. I got certified in various different forms of meditation, and it's been something that I've been doing for the past 5 years. In addition to, I also own a women's fitness apparel line, which is something that was definitely also inspired by my path in terms of dealing with stress and stress management, because I became a workout gym rat essentially, and I wasn't finding activewear that really worked for me style wise, but then also just in terms of my body and made me feel good. And so I decided that I was going ahead and I was going to start that as well. So meditation basically set me on my path as it relates to wellness, as well as it set me on the path that I know is my path as it relates to entrepreneurship, and specifically entrepreneurship in the spaces of wellness. And though I have clients from all walks and all backgrounds, I am super, super passionate about sharing this information specifically with professional women, entrepreneurs, and Black women in particular, because when I first started, I really had a preconceived notion in terms of things that were holistic, or things that were wellness focused, or things that were woke, and all of those terms in terms of, my very first question when I was starting to research meditation, though it was like, what is this? And am I putting myself in a position to be influenced in any shape or form? I was like, is it going to change me? And it absolutely has changed me, but it's changed me for the absolute best. So I want to be a vehicle and a vessel to be able to show women just how much meditation can change you as a person, and that those things don't have to be scary, they don't have to be intimidating, and they can actually be beneficial to your overall health and wellness and life. So that's my story. Hey, Ashley, do you have any other questions for me? I'll look in the chat. Ooh, look at those sunglasses. You're on mute.
Hey Tia, thank you for your share. I had to get in my car. I was out and
No
about
worries.
today, and so I did meditation in here, and I definitely appreciate the detail. And one aspect of that meditation that I felt I hadn't learned before was the part where we focused on our toes and we allowed a release through our toes.
Yes.
And so can you explain that to us? Like, what is happening when we are placing focus on the body? And if you could speak to that a little bit, that would be great. And then another question that I think is important to speak on, just, given the state of the country, where we were at earlier this year with George Floyd's murder, and meditation in the Black community. So, what does it mean to focus on the body, and what are some thoughts that you have around meditation and the Black community?
Sure. So in terms of the body, I will say a lot of times we operate from a space of being in a state of stress, the fight or flight state, right? We as people are overly stimulated. We're stimulated by our phones, we're stimulated by TVs and our computers, we're stimulated by the honking of horns and being in traffic. It's almost normal for us to be in a state of stress, right? And not necessarily stress from the standpoint of like I'm having heart palpitations or anxiety, but just a flashing light, right? Just a loud noise. We are always, in a state of having to react one way or the other. And so when I go through my meditation and I start off with you connecting with your breath, and then being able to scan the body, right? And allow all of that energy that doesn't serve you at the moment to exit and leave your toes. It's about visually being able to connect mind, body, spirit, right? And being able to visually channel throughout your body so that you can see that, so that you can feel that, so you can tap into that, and also so that you can feel like at any point in time I can do this, and I can help my body facilitate the release, right? So I can identify what's not serving me at the present moment, and then I also can be the person that is identifying that it doesn't serve me at this moment, and I can let it go and I can release it, right? So that I can fully move from being in the state of fight or flight to a state of rest and relaxation. So again, I'm moving people into activating the relaxation response, and to be able to connect and identify in the body through the breath areas of tension and tightness, and how we can let that go and release it. Even with starting off the exercise and being able to connect with your breath without any manipulation, right? A lot of times people go into meditation and the first thing that they want to do is right? And I want people to take a back seat from that effort to want to be in control so much of the release, and then being able to tap into the body and understand that the body really just needs you to take a pause and to just sit, and the body does what it needs to do. Your breath goes from cool to warm when you inhale and exhale. You don't have an internal thermostat where you're like, let me change this or let me shift that, right? The body does naturally what the body does. So if we allow ourselves to allow the body to do what it is that it does, we get a seat within ourselves to be able to identify some of the stuff that we're holding on to that doesn't serve us at the moment, and then allow ourselves to let that go. So that's kind of really the process and the thinking behind how it is that I teach in particular and why I teach that way. And it's been something that, folks have responded to. And it is a culmination or a combination of various different practices that I've studied that just really, really works, because not all people sit down and have a great meditation experience. Like, I was one of those folks that I sat down and I was like, oh, this is great. This is wonderful. This is awesome. I could do this every day. Like, I love to be able to sit with myself. But then I also had folks, you know, as I was teaching early on, that were like, I can't meditate. I can't quiet my mind. I can't stop, you know, moving, or I can't get to a state where I'm feeling like I'm relaxed enough. And actually the meditation was causing them to feel anxious, because they're like, I'm not doing it right? You know, I'm not able to calm this down, or I'm overthinking and I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat after class. I'm thinking about a bill I need to pay. I'm thinking about, you know, going online and doing some online shopping, and all of this chatter, all of this conversation. And through studying various different practices, in addition to restorative yoga, I was able to really kind of work with teachers that helped me to connect the dots and help me to understand that there's really a journey that people need to go through when it comes to meditation, specifically for relaxation, for deep relaxation, and to lessen stress. And that takes about 20 minutes, right? So it's not as simple as just sitting down and breathing in and breathing out, but also connecting people from the standpoint of your body knows what it is that it needs to do. And it will reveal a lot to you if you allow it, right? So those are my thoughts in terms of the body. Now, in terms of the world and, you know, racial injustice in the political system, Ashley, that could be a whole nother that could be a whole nother that could be a whole nother topic. I mean, it literally is a whole nother topic. But as what I will say as it relates to Black people and people of color in particular, during that time, I did a lot of free meditation. Oh, excuse me. I did a lot of free meditation here in Atlanta. We had a lot of protests, not only in the city, but in the suburbs, and just overall. And it was interesting, the connection that a lot of activism groups were making towards the need for a lot of the protesters to be able to operate from a space of being centered. And I thought that was awesome, because when you are centered, you are at your clearest, right? You're very clear on what it is as it relates to the task at hand. You're very clear as it relates to where you fit into the puzzle. You're very clear as it relates to your agenda. And so it was a very proud moment for me as a Black woman in wellness, and particularly teaching meditation, to be in those spaces and be able to offer services, and not only to be able to offer those services proactively, but like people actually coming to me and saying, hey, we need this, right? We've been beating down this door for the past couple of weeks, and I want to make sure that people are operating from a space of being recharged, right? Where they're not burnt out, where they're continuing to be able to fight the good fight, when they're continuing to be able to, have their voice heard. And so, again, like I said, as a woman, a Black woman in wellness, it was very, it was a proud moment. It was very eye-opening. And I just love the fact that people are looking at wellness and self-care in a different way now. And they're looking at it and they're seeing the importance of it, right? You're stressed out and the first person that you call is a meditation instructor, right? Or you're looking to, kick off a planning meeting and you want your staff members to get centered. So, you bring me on board to be able to help folks with being able to operate from a space of being centered. So like I said, I can go into a bunch when it comes to that, Ashley. But I think I will say, you know, again, it was a very proud moment because I definitely see that people are starting to connect the dots in terms of really what self-care looks like and the importance of it. And that being able to meditate or learn to meditate brings so much value into your life and into your spirit. And so that was definitely a proud moment, because a lot of times you see, whether it's like on social media, well, 9 times out of 10 is on social media, right? People like, oh, self-care Saturday. And, you know, I'm gonna, you know, go get my nails done or my hair done and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we've been doing that for years, but people being able to say, yeah, like a part of my self-care routine is doing yoga and meditating. Like that just makes me so happy and so proud. So I believe that, you know, we are turning the corner as it relates to being able to adopt mind, body, spirit practices that really help us and fuel us to be able to move forward and fight when it comes to injustices.
Awesome. Thank you, Tia. And thank you for coming on to guide us through a beautiful meditation and speak to meditation and touch on meditation and as it relates to where we are at politically and as a country. It is my opinion. And I think my opinion is informed through education and through extensive research. Published research, in fact, that oftentimes, you know, in our country, we are seeing such a high level of stress, whether it's in work or in school. There are groups who are suffering quite frequently and at alarming rates and with intensity that I don't even know if I can relate to, and the only way that I possibly could relate to it is through my own personal battle with cancer. But what I'm seeing is that we have this effect going on in our country, and it's related to the school to prison pipeline. And there's these statistics that show the probability of a Black child versus a white child going to prison. And there's these statistics that show that Black children who are in these certain communities are living under a lot of stress due to police presence and stuff like that. And so I was wondering, you know, what your opinion around meditation and high level trauma stress is. And I know that you specialize in bringing somebody from a stressful state to a calm state. And I think you answered my questions in your remarks about meditation and about your opinions around, you know, the topic of race and meditation. And I know that you could speak to it extensively, but just to say that's kind of like where I'm gearing up to go, is to explore meditation as it relates to high level stress in classrooms and as it pertains to recidivism and the school to prison pipeline. So maybe at a later time we can get into those topics. And I'm sorry I brought on such a big topic right at the end of your discussion. But you know, thank you for showing up.
Of course, anytime, girl. Just let me know. But yeah, no, I definitely can definitely and would want to definitely be incorporated in terms of how it relates to trauma and trauma as it relates to race and Black people just in general. Because I think that there's benefit to it in addition to other modalities that I think will help in terms of healing. I definitely so yes, I will say yes, like just let me know, because I definitely have some thoughts about that. And also, you know, that the shift is definitely happening. I definitely think that there are people who recognize, especially, Black folks, in terms of their level of trauma, and they're using these different modalities to be able to help them to move into a position of healing. And so I think that part of my job really is being able to help people understand exactly what meditation is, how it's approachable, and how to go ahead and do it, so that I can help them and assist them on their journey. And I think that that's one of, my divine assignments, is to be able to help with that, just because I know that it helped me so much as a person, as an individual spirit. That, I just want to share it and scream it at the top of my lungs. So, yeah.
And me too, which is why, I'm divinely inspired to host a show where people can come on and share that. I think, now is the time for people to really step forward and start talking about these things, sharing about meditation, sharing about their personal discoveries on what it is that helps them to illuminate and to unfold and let go of those behaviors and things that are no longer serving. And that's the whole point of this show. It's a safe space. Soon, as things evolve, the space will be opened up to be more of an open communication where people can interact. But, as for now, people come on the show, share their story. And thank you, Tia, for coming and sharing your story. I'm going to go ahead and let you say goodbye, and then I'll stop recording.
All right. Well, thank you all. It's been a pleasure to be here and to share a little bit of my story and what it is that I do. Again, my name is Tia Robinson. I'm the owner of The Pause Practice. You can find me at www.thepausepractice.com. Other business with it, which is an activewear line. It's called Vertical Activewear. Over the next couple of weeks, just in time for the new year, and people will be able to have activewear that is sustainable. XL. So, that activewear brand was developed to be able to support you at any stage of your wellness journey, and to help you and support you the inside out. So that brand is www.verticalactivewear.com, and I'm on Instagram at Vertical Activewear. And again, love the invitation, Ashley. Love you.
I love you too. And I love this planet, and I love the people.
Yes.
But, we all got a lot of work to do, so it's just time to engage. Thank you,
Yes.
Tia. And, we'll chat soon.
Yes.